Well, hello, and welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that I have something that I would like to talk about. I just really want to open up the subject. Just open it up because it is a big one. Okay, and that is about the heavens. Yeah, I have been listening to an audiobook on Audible. It is called The Divine Conspiracy by Dallas Willard. Okay? Definitely recommend it. It is very in depth. So, I'm just going to take a little tiny nibble on some of what I've just been listening to today. So, let's see if I can kind of impart. I would love to impart, or what's the word? There's an E word that I really would love to be doing right now because I think it's one of the spiritual gifts, and I hope that it's one that I've been gifted with. Okay, what are the spiritual gifts? I think I have it in my, because this one is not one that always comes right up. Exhortation. Okay, that just means to it's kind of like imparting something, right? But I think it's also making it practical, hoping that it can be useful, to the person that's listening. So that's right. Now we want to think about the heavens, but we also want to think about the presence of God. Okay, these are from some notes. God's presence right here with us is precisely. And this is a word that I have noticed, especially on this topic, Dallas Willard uses a lot. It's the word precisely. And another word that I like that he used is well, maybe it's of course. But just those words that are like certainly, most certainly, I love that. Okay, here we go. God's presence right here with us is precisely what the heavens, in quotes, conveys. The Old Testament, we're going to touch just very briefly, like I said, open up the topic for now, so we can just get our feet wet. But I definitely want to do some deep diving, okay, with you? So I hope you will stay with me. Or come back for that discussion. This is just going to be the opening up. But we are going to touch on Old Testament and the New. So that's good. So the Old Testament experience of God is one of God's person, knowledge, and power to those who trust and serve Him, right? And nothing or no one stands between us and Him. This is His people. This was in the Old Testament, His people, Israel. The heavens are always there. They're always there. They're not. Where do we think the heavens are? Very far away. Yeah, out of this world, right? So this is what is so mind-blowing. Yes, and I think very important, expedient for us to grasp. Okay? The first heaven, you may have heard that terminology in the Bible, is precisely, there we go again, the atmosphere or air that surrounds you and my body. Okay? So, okay, we're going to revisit. There's this illustration about Abraham's experience, but we're going to come back to that. So, here we go with another precisely. It is precisely from the air immediately around us that God watches and God acts. And when Paul on Mars Hill told those Greek inquisitors, and I've been there, that in God we live and move, and the way I've heard it is have our being. The way he quoted was exist. So that's very much the same thing. But just in case you know, so you can recognize the scripture as you may have heard it many times like I have. So he was expressing in the most literal, here's another, maybe this was the word I was trying to find when I was thinking precisely and literally, and of course, but he says in the most literal way possible that fact, the fact that, you know, in God we live and we move and we have our being. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to turn off the notifications. I will figure this out by the next time when we take our deep dive. Yes, I will. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because if in him we live and we move and have our being, it seems that he's right here. Okay, and that's without getting into some more New Testament language. We talk about the vine and being in the vine. Okay, but let's talk about that. First heaven. Okay, the experience of God's covenant people, the Jews. Yeah. Oh, and so this was the fact. This was a fact that okay, that they experienced. Okay. So, and it says that he was not, this Paul, speaking again on Mars Hill, to the inquisitors there, he was not being metaphorical or abstract. Okay? So, I think that's pretty awesome. To be from above, to be born from above, in New Testament language, here we are in the New Testament, means to be joined with the dynamic unseen reality in the midst of which all of humanity moves about. Whether it knows it or not, okay, and that, of course, is the kingdom among us. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. To be born from above in New Testament language means to be joined with the dynamic, unseen reality in the midst of which all of humanity moves about, whether it knows it or not. So what does it mean to be joined with that reality? That is God, right? Okay. And that, of course, is the kingdom among us. Okay? So that is what I wanted to just open up a discussion of. And I'm so sorry that we're getting so many interruptions with this craziness of my phone somehow being attached to my computer, and it's all the notifications are just popping off. I'm so sorry. But I will say that I hope that this made some sense to you on just the ground level, okay? Because basically what I'm trying to, express and exhort is, let's remember, starting now, that when we are born from above, which we are in the New Testament, when we believe, okay, in Jesus coming to dwell among us, okay, then we're joined with God, and God is not somewhere else, okay? He is in that kingdom among us. What was that phrase? I've heard this. The kingdom among us, yes. And so we need to start really delving into what is living in the kingdom with God's Spirit look like when He's right here, right now. Not something that we're having to leave here to be united with. Okay? So, I think that is all I will need to say for today, because that's pretty much all I can say. I'm just right at the beginning of this with you, but I'm also so excited to express this, and because I'm thinking, wow, this really does change things. I think it helps in our belief that we need to start to become kingdom citizens while we're walking in that belief, right? We really are bringing, the kingdom is here. So we need to be really living in the kingdom citizens. And the only way to do that is to really understand how much we can believe in the power of God among us, right? His ability to do all the things as it is in heaven here on earth. Okay? As it is in heaven. Is the heaven up there? No, it's here. It's the kingdom here and now. Okay, so I love you, and I hope that you have gotten something from this today. And please do comment and let me know what your questions or your discussion comments are, because I really want to get into this even more. And I will just really quickly give you a little bit of an overview, because if I say with this topic, the divine conspiracy, I'll tell you what different areas it will cover. So right now we were on what Jesus knew, our God-bathed world. Okay? Who is really well off? And we're talking about the Beatitudes. I kind of touched on that because I was a little bit ahead of this, and I've had to go back and go like, wow, this is something I need to stop and dwell on. So I talked a little bit about that, the Sermon on the Mount. Yeah, and I would love to continue that discussion as well. The rightness of the kingdom heart, beyond the goodness of scribes and Pharisees. And investing in the heavens, escaping the deception of reputation and wealth. And then, we're going to chapter 10, so hold on tight. The community of prayerful love, and on being a disciple or student of Jesus. Then, this is the part that I'm really looking forward to, a curriculum for Christ likeness. Okay? And then, chapter 10, the restoration of all things. So, that is quite the course, right? So we have plenty of things to talk about on Let's Talk About It Tuesday, but please do let me know if there's something that you're looking forward to talking about, because I will go there with you, okay? Alright, see you later. Sayonara, arrivederci, and sweet dreams.